thought out.
All right. Okay. All right.
Thank you for talking to me, Nino.
Anytime. You take care. Oh no, 1120 politics. Hey, what's going on, princess?
I just had a question about when properties go into government control, like when people don't pay their fees and whatever. Do we have like an opportunity to nab them up, or is that just, do we just have to wait? Like, when do they go up for sale?
I wish I knew. The only one that knows is probably like nobody.
Okay,
yeah,
great.
so
I remember learning that like, oh, the properties go up for sale on the 28th or something. I don't know if that was like a specific month or like now it's different.
I was told rumors and I went off of like the ones that you just mentioned. I still don't know if they're real because I myself haven't seen them. And so I don't know if it's a certain day. I don't know if it's like a certain like 30 days after the last one. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know if what the cadence is. And unfortunately, I've never woken up to verify myself, so it's only been rumors. But I think
dang it.
Unfortunately, I think probably the city's grinders probably know better than anyone else, and they get it before everyone. So that's just the sad reality.
Apparently, there's a Polito property that is currently in government control, but apparently not my government. All right, well,
no, it is.
I appreciate that.
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, it's like in government control, but I can't, buy it.
Well, it's in control until they. It's it is in the sense. Well, you can't buy it because it's in control in the sense of it's in. Oh my God, what is the word I'm looking for? They put up the notice on the door. You have 30 days to pay.
Right, eviction notice kind of thing.
Yeah, eviction notice or a lien. Yeah.
So does that mean they don't have a right to the property at the moment, or that they still do? Like, if they pay suddenly, do they get the property back?
Yep.
So it's illegal if I say to the cops, like, hey, can you put this property, can you basically like lock it down?
Yes, it would be.
Damn it. Okay. But I'm still trying to legislate that if it gets to that point, then maybe I can eminent domain,
That's not a bad idea. Yeah.
It's all written. I just need to figure out whether it needs to be, because this is the same thing we were talking about, like, does it need to be a constitutional amendment or not? I don't think so.
No, absolutely not. Because it's not you have the right to own property, but that doesn't mean that someone can just break into a house and say, this is my right to own this now, right?
Right. But I want to do that.
Well, kind of. You have the right to own property, but that doesn't mean you don't have to pay for it. And this is a case where 100%. They're not paying for it, so technically it's the county's right to repossess it, because you know what I mean? So,
in this case, I want to be able to grab properties even if they are being paid for, if they're just not being used. But is Barrett still alive?
He's gone. Yeah. He retired.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought, because he texted me before he was like, within the next 48 hours, I'm going to be stepping down. But then I never actually got like a notice of whether he stepped down or not, so I just kind of assumed. But he was the one doing all of the tests of like subpoenaing people's bank records to see if they were only paying their property fees and nothing else. And now I wonder, like, if I can put that in legislation, saying like, okay, if someone, say, 2 months pass and they're only paying property fees and not paying any other fees, like they're not contributing to the economy at all, they're just paying property fees, I can repossess the property for dereliction.
That makes sense.
But I don't know if is that something I can subpoena, or the cops can subpoena records?
I don't think you're going to make any sense of what. Yes, the answer is yes. But Barrett probably spent dozens of hours on that sheet. It's
That's
really
I'm
bad.
trying to figure it out. I've got someone who's willing to do that work, but I've been waiting to get them to. Well, here's the thing: is that I hired them as like a treasurer accountant kind of thing, and I was really excited to have them get like the tutorial class from Barrett. But then he was like, "Actually, I'm resigning," so I now have to get them to figure out by themselves, like, okay, how do you do this? How do you make the spreadsheet?
Yeah, Barrett's taking OC time off.
But it's just going to take a while to get to know the system and everything like that. So I'll figure it out. And then if I, pass legislation and everything, then obviously that's going to be an easy thing to just do. But we'll see.
Hell yeah.
Yep. All right. I appreciate it. That was what I was worried about. I'm going to probably just check back on the property every day to see if it's available yet.
That's probably... I mean, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but unless something changed recently, the first person that wakes up and loads their eyeballs into this, loads their cell phone up, powers up their tablet first, and has the money is going to buy it. It's a really...
Here's the thing, though. It's going to be Ventura. And I think I can talk to Ventura. He's like Blaine County's Bruce Baylor.
Huh?
Ventura is like Blaine County's Bruce Baylor. Like he's like real estate guy. He just buys properties to sell them again.
Lord have mercy. Yeah. Well.
But I can talk to him about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I appreciate it though, Nino. Thank you so much.
Did you call Ventura Grinder?
What?
Well, I mean, you said Bruce Baylor. You know what I mean? I feel like Ventura's he's legitimate. You know what I mean? I'd like to...
I genuinely, I've never met or spoken to Bruce Baylor. All I know is that everyone talks about how he's like the richest man ever, and he just buys properties and like sells high value and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's like a...
I've had my problems with Ventura, but I feel like saying he's like Bruce is taking it too far, but I can understand without...
I didn't know. I didn't know that about Bruce, so I'm now... I'm sorry.
Yeah, no.
I feel bad for Ventura, though. I didn't mean it like that. I didn't know about Bruce Baylor. I guess maybe that means he's like the Helios.
Well... how is it going otherwise? We haven't had a chance to... We haven't chatted in a minute.
Yeah, we really haven't.
Yeah.
Things are going okay. I still have to figure out. So basically, Grayson gave me his just verbal word that he would repay me if I increased DOC's wages.
Ooh,
so
that's good.
Well, here's the thing: is that I've increased their wages, but now I have I'm just bleeding money and just hoping that eventually I'll get repaid. Because he now has to. It's all this bureaucracy stuff. He has to talk to all the justices. And they all have to agree to pay it back. Yeah. And then, and also currently they're not, they have to have a discussion before they're able to pay me back for, like county clerk, judge
I would not
salary,
have increased it. I would not have increased it until you got money in hand, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I should probably decrease, because the thing is, what's costing me the most is all of the, like, judge and city clerk and justice payments. Like, that's like a what is it? Because last time, right, for the past 4 weeks, right, so like a month and a half ago, Murray gave me $16 million and said this is for 4 weeks. 4 weeks passed about...
I mean, I know what actually happened.
And I did all the calculations and everything. It was basically almost exactly the right amount of money. Like, Murray acted as if he was giving me... He was like, yeah, keep the change, like that kind of thing. There was no change. But now I've been basically paying judges and everything $3,500 still. But Blaine County that's like $4 million a week?
Yeah.
That... I don't know if you've seen the accounts recently. Blaine County has like $6 million total. And I'm still paying them that money. and I talked to Murray, and he's like, we have to have a meeting first so we can discuss whether we're gonna, be able to reimburse you guys for that. And like, I just at this point, if they don't respond soon, I'm gonna have to just decrease judge wages and everything.
I would bring down DOC, and the reason for that is Grayson may have made a bit of a mistake there, in the sense that in the same way we did the Marshall thing, we should be collectively paying for them, since the DOC, similar to the Marshals, is under no umbrella, so as not to show any. And that doesn't mean you got to foot a huge bill, right? Like, I mean,
that's the thing, right? Is that I have been, and they've been. So I've been paying them. What Grayson said is that they're willing to pay an additional like $1,200 a month or $1,200 per hour. And so I increased it to like $1,900 an hour. So I'm paying however much they're not paying. Yep. And then the thing is, it's like I'm trying to figure out for DOC how they're getting paid, but they're not reaching out to you. They're not reaching out to the DOJ. They're just happy to have me pay for all of it. And so I'm doing all this extra stuff to try and get them paid better, when realistically, like, I'm just trying to get them to have any meetings. Like, they should be talking. The warden should be talking to you and saying, okay, how much?
No, they have. They have.
Has the warden reached out to you? I know they're getting paid well in Los Santos County.
Yeah, we discussed it. Wait, were you at the meeting this Monday?
Yeah. Because I remember we had the meeting afterwards.
Am I tripping? Because I was in a meet. It might have been a separate one. It might have been the VAF meeting. But it was brought up to me, and I think it's a line item on Monday.
Okay.
But that's why I'm saying,
like, I would they kept being like, oh, we can't do it on Mondays because, like, that's, it's a different thing. Like, we need to just talk to DOC about it. But I had a meeting with Grayson and Yui. And that's when they decided, like, okay, well,
shit.
Just because what they basically said is, like, because this is an emergency and, like, like emergency injunction kind of thing, we'll pay for their wages because, like, in the same way that we did for the Marshals.
Oh my God, that's such a sick jump.
We've got no way of changing the fact that they're not making money. And so it's essentially going to be like, we're willing to do the emergency payment, and then after they stop doing the emergency payment, then I'm just still going to be footing the bill, and then they're just going to keep not being paid because they're not making money. So that money needs to come from somewhere, and I guess all I have to do is, like, every week I have to go back to the DOJ and be like, hey, will you reimburse us for this week? And they get to decide yes or no, and if they decide no, then that's just unfortunate.
I don't think it should be that way. I think it's that the DOC should do just like the Marshals, send out their, like, budget, and then we reimburse them. It should work just like the Marshals do it.
Right. But the thing is, since they're getting paid per hour, I guess the Marshals were willing to forfeit the per hour payment and instead do salary so that they could be paid by the state.
That's exactly how the Marshals do it. And it wouldn't even need to be necessarily that, right? It can be, that can be the budget request, and that budget request can be based on what they're getting paid today, right? Because their hours and their expenditure, like, are a known thing. So if their known thing is like $5 million a month, then that can be accounted for. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's.
But I just the issue that I have, Nino, is that, like, it keeps coming back to me to, like, plan the meetings, decide how to, like, divide the money and stuff. When realistically, if I'm not mistaken, it should be, if they're the ones wanting to get paid, they should be having the meetings, and they should be telling me, hey, we've gotten this much reimbursement, we will pay you to increase our pay to this much, or something like that. Like, it shouldn't be me trying to get them paid more, especially when, I'll just tell you, currently, I'm not getting paid. My cabinet's not getting paid. Like, we don't have the ability to get paid because our payment is based on Blaine County's, like, whether we're up or down, and because we're paying for the judges and the, you know, and the city clerks or county clerks and then the DOC and everything, we are, like, in the negative weekly, which means that I just took out my paycheck for the past week, and it was $190. And, like, there's nothing I can do about that, because even if I wanted to, like, you know, give myself a bonus or something like that, I can't do that without, you know, risking that Blaine County is just not gonna have enough money to pay all of these expenses that were meant to be reimbursed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate reality is that most heads aren't necessary. Unfortunately, the mayor sometimes has to be we have to end up doing things for people, and that includes, you know, setting up meetings. I know it's shitty.
Right,
it couldn't be that way, but
no, and I'm perfectly fine to set up the meetings.
Yeah.
It's just that, like, the way that DOJ is unwilling to, like, or the fact that it's like you ever, like, you know, when you go out to dinner with a bunch of people, right? And someone's like, oh, I'll pay the bill, and then everyone can just, you know, pay me afterwards.
Yeah.
They're always going to end up losing money from it because everyone forgets about, like, oh, the tip and the tax and all that stuff. Oh, well, I don't have this much. I'll just pay you this much and whatever. So you end up bleeding money, and if you're always the one footing the bill, then you're gonna end up, like, little bits here and there.
100%. Well,
so Blaine County, running Blaine County is like running a nonprofit. It's crazy. And I'm willing to have all the meetings and everything, but, you know, the fact that it's like, okay, DOJ is taking a week to decide whether they're going to give us another $16 million for the next 4 weeks. And that means that this week, I'm not getting any reimbursement.
Yeah,
which means that I've lost another $4 million just waiting for them to make a decision.
I would never, I would say I would never give anyone any money until the decision's made. I would definitely dial it back, and it's not like anyone's going to not understand that. The thing is, that money has to come in before you spend it. So I think putting it up on a promise.
I can't decrease their pay to, like, nothing. Like the judge pay and the, you know, like I mean, what the sliders even say, like, oh, put it between this number and that number. Like, I don't know if I can.
I thought you. I'm sorry. I thought you. No. I thought you said that you increased their pay dramatically.
Well, no. DOJ told me increase city council pay, or rather, judge pay, public defender. Whatever the other ones are, county clerks, everything like that. Increase everything to $3,500 and we'll pay you back. So I said, okay, so everyone's getting paid $3,500 an hour. And they were like, okay, yeah, we'll pay you back for it. We're gonna pay you $16 million upfront for the next 4 weeks. Keep track of how much it actually costs, and then we will decide for the next 4 months or 4 weeks whether we'll pay you the same amount or whether we're going to reimburse you retroactively, etc. So that was great for the first 4 weeks. It was almost exactly $16 million total. So we ended up, you know, we didn't lose any money from it.
Gotcha,
and so I said, okay, Murray, what about the next 4 weeks? And he said, we're going to have to talk about it. We're going to have a conversation. And I was like, okay. So now they're having all these meetings, and they're having the conversation, but they haven't come to a decision yet. And so...
But you're still actively paying it, right?
But I'm still actively paying. So for the past week,
how much does the DOC pay right now?
DOC pay currently is $1,900. That's not costing us that. That's costing us like $300,000 to $400,000 a week.
Yeah.
But, like, combined all of the other stuff, I mean, I think the biggest thing is, like, paying
Wait, what the fuck?
Like, you know, maintenance and
I crashed.
food for the prisoners. So, like, you know, all the prison money, all that stuff. So it does end up with that and the judges stuff. It does end up costing us $4 million a week. Which means that this week, while they're making the decision about whether they want to keep paying me, you know, or Blaine County for that, that's another $4 million that we're just draining because they're just still haven't decided yet. And I'm gonna ask for that, but you know, it's gonna end up being like, you know, when you go to dinner with a bunch of people, like they're gonna pay what they think is probably accurate, and it's gonna be a little bit less, and they're gonna forget a day or something like that. Because in the past, the reimbursement has been like I have to send them a picture of the sliders, uh, but because the sliders are on like that 7-day window, if I send them the sliders like an hour or two later, then you know, like or even like a day, up to a day, that's that amount of time that passed. I'm not getting reimbursed for.
What the fuck?
So I have to realistically, at the exact time every 7 days, I have to send them a picture of the sliders. And if I am a minute late, that's a minute of money that I'm not getting paid.
Jesus.
That's why I asked that whole stuff about like, hey, can I, like, would it do anything if I wrote a letter to, you know, the federal government about the fine split? Because that's really the only method that we have, barring potential construction, to actually make money.
That sounds like a shit show. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I don't. Yeah, I don't know. So they have to reapprove this, like the money that they're gonna send you. Like there's a lot.
I guess.
I'm trying to like visualize all this. There's a lot of moving parts, and you know, not having the context that.
It's basically just like, I guess it's up to the DOJ to decide whether or not they want to, because there's nothing in law saying that like they have to reimburse me for, and realistically they could be reimbursing you too for the money that is spent on paying judges and paying clerks and lawyers and stuff like that. But if you don't ask for it, they won't pay it. And that's why, you know, they're paying me because
oh, my leg. Oh, fuck.
And you know, it's something that both of us deserve to be paid for. Like, we
actually looks so funny looking going down the stairs.
But because we, you know, happen to be like,
oh, I got my back.
Paying for it, I've asked them to pay for it, and realistically, if they say actually we don't feel like paying for it, then what happens? All I can do is, I guess, decrease their payment to nothing. But you know, for the time being, I'm just waiting, and so I'm not decreasing their pay.
Oh God, my back!
But I really probably could be, maybe should be.
Almost.
But I don't want the lawyers and the, you know, county clerks and everything to be getting the like punishment for the DOJ not making a decision in time. Because my cabinet is already getting that punishment, and like, you know, my cabinet's asking me like, hey, is it intentional that I picked up my paycheck after a month and I got $2? Like, is that normal? Like, yeah, unfortunately, we're the ones who get screwed over when the DOJ doesn't pay for their people.
I would bring up the conversation Monday, or sooner than that. I definitely would not increase any payments unless you have money in advance. I think any DOC related things, that should be a joint effort by all legislative authorities, and we just pay whatever seems to be a fair amount, very similar to what we did with the marshals. And I think, yes, the owner should 1000% be on the DOC to provide their budget stuff, because that's on them, and if they don't do it, they don't get paid. It's that simple. Right? Because if there is a culture of people wiping, we don't need to wipe other people's asses, and it's that isn't good for anybody. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Yeah, well, the thing is, Grayson said increase their DOC pay to, you know, assume that we are paying for $1,200 per hour. And so I did that, and I'm gonna keep track of it to make sure that they are paying me back for it. And if they don't, then I guess what? I just have to sue them. But for the time being,
That would be funny, actually.
I mean, yeah, like I might have to do that because if I'm paying like DOC and also the judges and everything, and that's taking a significant amount of Blaine County. Like that costs me more than BCSO costs. In fact, judges and county clerks and lawyers are getting paid $3,500 an hour, and BCSO is only getting paid $2,000. And that was McNulty's request. And so, like, the cost per week for BCSO is about half of what the cost for judges and everything is. And so if we weren't paying for the judges and the county clerks and everything, Blaine County might actually be in the positives for once. But I don't feel comfortable decreasing the pay for all of the judges and everything to nothing.
I have too much ADHD to follow this conversation.
Because they basically said, we're going to pay you back, but
there's
we need
this
you
is
to
one of
keep
the
money at
to me this is like
$3,500.
reading from a Excel sheet and reading all the cells out.
If a week passes and they still haven't made a decision, then I'm gonna have to decrease the pay.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, I certainly would like to advocate for everybody, collectively paying for the DLC in similar percentages, so that will at least resolve that. As for the rest of it, I mean, DOJ, I imagine is gonna pay the DOJ related stuff, but anyways, I gotta get going. It is late for me, and I am absolutely cooked.
Surprised you're still around.
Yep.
I appreciate all this. I'll bring it up at the meeting. I got a lot of legislation to write.
Okay.
Also, just another like really, really quick thing. Starting a Blaine County lottery. I got the scratch cards to go to the website and everything.
Ooh, that's fun.
Yeah, so we're gonna do like a weekly drawing, stuff like that.
Okay, hell yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I got. I guess I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, all right.
Get some rest time.
Some rest, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you stay safe.
All right, you too. Toodaloo.
Bye. No, lottery's a good idea. Well, yeah, because the way, like, it's like the state lottery, right? You get, no, it's a good idea. It's like, what happens is, some percentage of the tickets go to the county,